So this is an episode where it's like, look, it's three black men talking about gender wars and critiquing, critiquing women's behaviors to a certain extent, but there are no women involved. But I think it's important to include women in the conversation, and so that's why I was intentional about starting it out with a woman speaking to women, and I'm going to end it out with a woman speaking to women, right? So I'm going to play this clip. If anybody wants to know who she is, then I can tell you who she is. But here we go. Here's the clip. And this is talking about pandering to black women. How pandering to black women is trendy now.
Now, I disagree with that for several. They was talking about how like black men and white women are in the same position, like of oppression, right? Now, I disagree with that for several different reasons. And then what made it more upsetting is that it was some black man on there co-signing what she was saying, like, well, I agree with her, she's right. You know, let me tell y'all something. The reason why I don't subscribe to this feminism nonsense, the reason why I don't subscribe to all of this women's empowerment nonsense is because it conveniently lumps white women into being oppressed. They are not oppressed. White women are oppressors, period. We have nothing in common with them. Nothing. You feel me? They benefit from all forms of white supremacy, all of it. Their domestic issues with their men is not oppression. You feel me? It's not. They be having their long little relationship arguments. They have their internal problems and issues and all that. That's not them being oppressed. That's them not knowing how to deal with their own men. They ain't got nothing to do with us. They ain't got nothing to do with their men oppressing them. You feel me? That's all that is. And so for someone to say that, some person of color to say that nonsense, and then for a black man to co-sign it, it's just 100% out of line. You know what I'm saying? It's 100% out of line. And I guess I'm gonna have to like post a constant reminder, like a reminder every 30 days, just to let people know that we cannot get ourselves mixed up in this feminism, intersectionality nonsense. And we love it so much. Let me tell you why black people love to claim intersectionality. I'm not just black, I'm a woman too. Ugh. You feel me? Mm-hmm. I mean, are the police murdering women in mass? Like, what is the common denominator here? Because you guys know I like math, right? What is the common denominator? Are the police murdering women? Are women disproportionately imprisoned? They not murdering people in the streets in cold blood because they're women. The common denominator is blackness. You feel me? That's the common denominator. Because if that was the case, if they was murdering people and sending people to prison because they was women, it would be a whole bunch of white women being shot down in the streets. It'd be a whole lot of white women being wrongfully incarcerated and all of that. You know what I'm saying? So black women, please let me, like the black women in life, understand we do not have allies with these white women. They not our friends. They not. They looking for ways to oppress us and use us the same way that white men do. You know what I'm saying? They stay the ones taking our lingo, appropriating our culture, and trying to take ownership of it, and never giving us any of the credit for the stuff that we do, the stuff that we've created, the culture that we've manufactured. You know what I'm saying? That we've made out of thin air because our culture was ripped and stolen away from us. What type of, and then let me just, there's so many facets of this that bothers me on so many different levels. How are black men able to oppress anyone? Do they own the banks? Do they own land and deny people housing? Are they the owner of these Fortune 500 companies and not hiring our people? Is that black men who's doing that to black women? You feel me? And black women, we have to use more of our brain than to be so hyped with this idea of like, oh, black women are the saviors. Black women, we're the leaders and we're leading this country into, we love to hear stuff like that because it makes us feel good. Hell no, bruh. I'm not saving none of, look. That ain't my place. My place ain't to save this country that can't stand me. You feel me? this country sit up and campaign for me. Black women, we love you so much. We want you to be the savior. But as soon as I pop a little black boy out, they gonna want him dead. What happened to all that black women are the saviors and all that type of stuff then?
All right, so that was the clip I wanted to end with. And at some point, I'm going to have that conversation about this alliance with Black women and white liberals, specifically white women. And I'm going to have the conversation about how white women can easily be given the title of possibly the most egregious oppressors of the Black community, and who a demographic of people who have capitalized the most off of white supremacy directly, not indirectly through their men, but directly through having access to affirmative action, having access to the grants, millions upon millions of dollars in grant money that should have went to minority orgs and minority businesses. Also jobs that should have went to actual minorities, and specifically Black people, but until they changed the legislation to involve other people. So if you actually had data on it, calculated it, they would probably, the sums of money that they have looted from the Black community over the past 40 years is at a cap level that is astronomical. And a result of that, us not having access to those resources and that capital has been detrimental. So we'll have that conversation at another